This is Computer Insider, Canada's award-winning television series with Bob Pritchard. This week, we go hands-on with the latest offering from Delrina as we check out WinFax version 4 and see how easily you can fax documents. Later, we look at the use of multimedia in Europe and how technology is changing people's lives on Computer Insider. Computer Insider is brought to you by AST Computer. You'll like the way we work. Sharp Electronics. From sharp minds come sharp products.
Thank you very much for joining us this week on Computer Insider. Well, we've been following what's going on in the world of interactive television, and some news from Hewlett-Packard. They've selected LSI Logic as the company to make their decompression chips for their set-top boxes. Basically, what's going to happen is that we're going to see many more signals coming down the same cable wire. In order to get more information into the wire, what they're going to do is compress the video and the audio. So when that signal gets to your set, it needs to be decompressed, and that's what this chip is all about. Hewlett-Packard tells us they have about 750,000 chips on order at this point in time. If you've been using your laptop computer and you've been wondering whether or not these PCMCIA cards are going to catch on or not, well, it seems in laptops shipped in 1994, about 80% have these cards. By the way, they're little credit card sized cards that go into the laptop that get you, let's say, modems or networking or other functions within the computer. They anticipate that by next year, 100% of laptop computers will be equipped with PCMCIA slots. Some other news for you in the chip world. IBM has announced that Toshiba has decided to use their PowerPC chip, the 601s, in upcoming computers. Now, the PowerPC was developed by IBM, Apple, and Motorola to compete with the Intel platform. Basically, everybody seems to be going into the 486 or the Pentium class machines, and the feeling is there needs to be some level of competition, hence the PowerPC. We'll monitor what's going on and report here on Computer Insider.
Computer Insider's Industry Insights has been brought to you by QMS, Seamless Network Printing.
Let's say that you wanted to redo your house, maybe put new wallpaper in place or move the furniture around or paint it. What would you do? Would you go down to the local store and get the wallpaper and the paint and hold it up to the walls, or get a couple of friends over and push the furniture around? That's the way we would do things in the real world. But in the technology world, we have other options called virtual reality. We could scan into the computer, let's say, a sample of the wallpaper, and then have that sample go over the entire wall so we could see what it would look like. We could have the computer move the furniture around so we found the look and feel that we really wanted to have. Virtual reality is the way of tomorrow.
In London, Carol Solomon's trying to guess what her new kitchen will be like. Now she doesn't have to. Powerful new computer technology means British Gas can recreate her kitchen on screen in virtual reality, allowing her not just to see what her kitchen will look like, but also walk around it, even open drawers, or choose different colours. Virtual reality has gone from the world of fantasy to the world of shopping.
We're going to take the hassle out of the buying process. You won't be surprised when we turn up and install your kitchen. In fact, what you see on the screen is what we will come and install.
I just don't have the time to go around to different showrooms having a look at different kitchens. Time is money.
Near Bonn in Germany at the GMD Research Institute, the same technology which now sells kitchens also helps medical science. Meet Frida, the virtual reality woman. Scientists here have recreated a life-size operating theatre situation. Frida exists through the power provided by these silicon graphics computers. One day soon, she could be any one of us. Our anatomy recorded, we could leave our bodies behind with doctors for further study or the planning of an operation.
We came up with the idea not to design the human being to adapt to the computer, but vice versa.
You could simulate new methods without any risk for any patient, for instance.
In France, the National Railway uses the technology to prepare some train drivers for emergencies. We could all benefit from virtual reality in ways we hadn't expected.
You can produce something or simulate something in a virtual space, which then you do in real, with all the knowledge you have gained and being trained in this virtual space.
Whether you're buying a kitchen, traveling on a train, or going for an operation, virtual reality can now help ensure the right decision is made.
There's no doubt that virtual reality is the way of tomorrow when it comes to looking at houses that haven't been built, or condos that haven't been built, or factories that haven't been built. But I'm waiting for that next step to come in technology where I can sit down at my computer and have it virtually cut the lawn, or virtually rake the leaves, or, yes, it's going to happen, virtually shovel the snow, but maybe that'll take another generation of technology. Speaking about other generations, we have a new generation of news waiting for you each and every week on our Facts on Demand system. All you have to do is dial into the system. That's the first number on the screen, and we have current information ready for you each and every week. Coming up a little bit later on, we're going to meet with Dave Mountain. He's the general manager of Autodesk on Computer Insider.
If you want to attract more business, you've got to work together. We all have our own special visions of where we want to be and how we want to work, wherever we are. At AST, we build computers to meet your worldview with award-winning products, service, and support. From notebooks to super servers, AST Computer. You'll like the way we work.
Today's marketplace demands more information delivered faster than ever before. D-Link helps make that happen. D-Link manufactures network interfaces. D-Link connects computer systems with bridges and routers. D-Link writes network management software. D-Link manufactures computer networking and internetworking products to bring this world closer together. D-Link Corporation.
When John Nagy joined CompuServe, he was new at computing and an old hand on the mountain. He joined to get more out of his computer and more out of life. On CompuServe, as on the mountain, there was always something to discover, like the solution to a software problem that wasn't in the manual, or being one of the first to know about that special vacation spot and how to save time and money getting there. The mountain was a source of satisfaction he would never outgrow. In a way, a lot like CompuServe. For more information, call 1-800-554-4088. Start with the basics, news, travel, and encyclopedia, and more for just $8.95 a month. Then go beyond for free software and help with hardware and software problems. You'll get more out of your computer and more out of life. CompuServe, the information service you won't outgrow.
In all the years I've been working in the computer industry, probably the most interesting event happened earlier this year with the merger of WordPerfect and Novell Corporation. Just a little bit of background for you. Novell is a developer of network software. They own the marketplace for all intensive purposes with something in the area of an 80% market share. WordPerfect has been the dominant word processor over the years in application software. What's happened is that Microsoft has continued to develop high-quality applications that is winning larger and larger shares of the marketplace. Novell and WordPerfect got together on the basis of being able to develop a higher quality application and compete possibly more effectively against Microsoft and what they're doing. I had an opportunity not so long ago to sit down with Bob Frankenberg and other members of the team at Novell WordPerfect to find out where they're going to and what's happening in the marketplace.
We'll see a significant movement to NetWare 4 from 3 and from 2. One of the things that will drive that is that we have made a radical improvement in installation, providing a default directory and simplifying the task of making the conversion. So we think that the features of 4, the single logon, the directory, which is a stellar capability that no one else has. And in fact, all of our competitors are going to have to figure out how to get that pig through their Python before they're going to become a significant factor in network computing.
Well, this puts us in a new era of network-ready applications. We now are in a position where we can bring to our customers cradle-to-grave solutions that go right from the network operating system through to those applications that allow them to be very productive in meeting their job needs.
We'd like to congratulate Stan Weiss on his recent appointment as General Manager of Novell in Canada. His predecessor, Ian Fraser, has just been promoted over to the United Kingdom, where he'll be heading up Novell there. When we look at the merged companies and consider how they go together and what they could do, what would the changes be in applications if you've been using a word processor and now you're part of a networking company? How is that going to change your applications, or will it change its applications? More often than not, people are confused by just what a networked application is.
The real goal is to build network integrated applications, applications that take full advantage of all of the infrastructure provided by the network. They don't duplicate that infrastructure. They use the network tools to manage the applications and the system. They enhance the user's ability to communicate and share information. And they use all of the advanced network services, such as the directory. So there's a common single place for the administrator to add a user, and he's added to the email, he's added to the document management system, he's added to the business process automation system, all by adding the user to that global directory.
It is very important, though, to not think about database in a suite as only the database that runs on the client. What a lot of people really want is access to data on the server, and databases on the server, and indeed up on legacy systems. So when people say database, that's actually what they often mean in the suite environment. So having wonderful connections to Oracle databases, to Sybase databases, to Gupta databases, and so forth is a very important part of what we're doing with the suite.
Novell has to come to grips with a very interesting problem in the industry. The problem being, how do you service both, let's say, a large Fortune 500 company, and also be able to service the small user, the 1- and 2-person organization, or even the home market? This question, which they're dealing with in terms of how to change the corporation, Novell WordPerfect, also impacts the distribution. Do they go to the large corporations directly and sell directly, or do they go through interim people, distributors, and retailers and get the products into the marketplace that way?
Well, for example, in the past, people have been able to use their word processor to communicate, but they would need to print out a document and or send it via email. And if you wanted to make modification to it, it would become a process of making modifications, sending it back to the author, and then doing it. With the network capabilities we have, we can actually store for public distribution documents that can be accessed by all of the users. They can take, either annotate or modify that document and then send it down back to the originator.
Your marketing product, when you're marketing an operating system, you're marketing to a very different set of people typically than for applications. And so the way that we're going to address that is by having different business groups who address different sets of customers. So there will be a business group for NetWare. There will be a business group for Unixware, for Unix. There will be one for the applications, and there'll be one for the client and management, advanced client management and communication capabilities that I touched on earlier.
The computer industry is changing very rapidly. How it's changing is something we're yet to see unfold, but we know a couple of things for sure. First of all, applications have become very robust. An installation today of a leading application can take as much as 25 megabyte of hard disk storage. So do we really need to have more robust programming, or the 4,000 commands included in many applications enough for us? Are we going to move into new directions, maybe in networking? Are we going to be able to communicate with our computers in ways other than a keyboard? These are the questions we're facing today.
The world has gone from a scarcity of information to a hyperabundance of information, and inboxes that look like this, and paper that consumes trees. And what we're focused now on is one example of how I can move from where I'm at to an infrastructure that dynamically implements an interpersonal group communication technology and moves me towards decision processing and away from data processing.
Well, we are in the process of talking to our distributor partners and our reseller partners as well to find out what the most effective way of integrating the two companies will be. Certainly within the next few months we will have one solution that will meet the needs of our customers, but we require their input in determining what the best approach will be.
The real challenge that faces the industry is how to stop Microsoft. Not that a lot of people don't like Microsoft, but there has to be room in the marketplace for a number of competitors. At this point in time, people like Novell, Lotus Development, and other major companies have to develop a strategy that's going to ensure them some share of the market in the future. Speaking about market share, you can find out what's going on by our complete Fax on Demand system that gets you the latest update on what's happening in the computer industry. It's a free service. The first number on the screen, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Coming up, we're going to show you how to use fax software right here on Computer Insider.
Only Sharp presentation systems deliver the winning combination. Don't miss your next opportunity. Get the Sharp Edge. From a family of incredibly vivid computer projection panels to our convergence-free LCD projectors, you too can have multimedia presentation power like never before. Up to 16 million colors in computer, video, or combined. Sharp presentation systems and you, the winning combination. Computer Insider's radio reports can be heard 4 times daily on 680 News. Bob Pritchard brings you the latest computer news and information highlights from Canada's award-winning technology report. Be sure to watch Computer Insider's Files, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 6:40 on Canada AM and at 11:28 p.m. immediately following the CTV National News.
When John Nagy joined CompuServe, he was new at computing and an old hand on the mountain. He joined to get more out of his computer and more out of life. On CompuServe, as on the mountain, there was always something to discover, like the solution to a software problem that wasn't in the manual, or being one of the first to know about that special vacation spot and how to save time and money getting there. The mountain was a source of satisfaction he would never outgrow, in a way a lot like CompuServe. For more information, call 1-800-554-4088. Start with the basics, news, travel, and encyclopedia, and more for just $8.95 a month. Then go beyond for free software and help with hardware and software problems. You'll get more out of your computer and more out of life. CompuServe, the information service you won't outgrow.
Computer Insider is brought to you by Maxell. Every Maxell computer product is 100% tested, certified, and guaranteed for life to ensure that your precious data will be completely safe. Maxell, always a generation ahead.
Today on Computer Insider's hands-on portion, we're going to have a look at a fax software package. It's called Delrina WinFax 4, and it's the latest rev of a package that lets your faxes be transmitted automatically from your computer. So we'll just double-click onto the icon, and off we go for Delrina's WinFax 4. What I wanted to do right off the top with WinFax 4 is to show you how you can sort the files that you received into your computer. What you do is you right mouse click, go down to sort, and it gives you some options as to how to sort the files that you've received. Simply take the defaults if you want, click apply, and it puts everything into a descending date order. The last fax you receive first, and the first comes up at the end of the whole situation. I also wanted to show you by using the right mouse button in WinFax 4 that you can actually look at the files on the computer itself. What it does is it brings up a viewer so that if you don't want to print out the file, you want to see what it's about, or if you want to store the file on the computer, you simply have to click on the right mouse button and it brings up the file and you can sit and have a look at it and know what it's all about rather than wasting the time printing it and that sort of thing. I want to put this away and I'm going to go over and show you another aspect. First we'll switch over to the receive file so we can look at some of the faxes that have actually come in. We'll select one, that'll do. Hit the right mouse button, and again we're going to go on to view and select that by double clicking, and it brings up that same viewer we saw a few minutes ago, except this time it's showing us a fax that we've received into the system. When you look at the top up here where your menu bar is, what you're seeing is a whole bunch of new tools. We have the opportunity to annotate, and we simply click on the button and away we go. Now in the annotation we can select various things like lines and boxes, text, characters, and whatnot, and put them into the document. We'll put this aside and go back over to our basic module within Delrina's WinFax 4. The thing most people want to do with a fax software is they want to be able to send it from a document. So we're going to go over to our word processor, and we have a document already set up for us. And just as if you were going to print to your printer, what you do is you select the print button from the menu selection, and it's going to give us the options that we need to be able to put this letter over to the fax software. And it's fully automatic. You don't have to think, is it open, is it closed, where's it going to do? You simply click on the button and it sends it over directly into the fax software. Once we're into the fax software, we have all the opportunities to select the resolution and other key elements that have to do with using the fax software itself. So as you can see, we're just coming into the fax application, and the first thing it's going to ask us to is where we're going to send the fax to, and that's up here with the name and the phone number. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a new name in the phone book by clicking up here on phone book, and it's going to give us a record in our database to set up the new information. So I'll put my own name in, Mr. Bob Pritchard, and once that's done, and it's very important with fax software to make sure you give it a phone number. If you don't give it a phone number, it gets really upset. Remembering that the way Bell Canada has changed things, you want to have a 10-digit local number so it can differentiate the various elements of the country. Once we've done that, we click on Options because we want to delete this file once it's been transmitted. Otherwise, we'll have too much information onto the computer system. We'll let this transmit itself while we go back over to the studio and talk about Delrina's WinFax 4. Another thing about using a fax card in your computer that many don't realize is that if you're using a laser printer or an inkjet printer, that the fax card behaves just like a plain paper fax machine, and that's quite an advantage. Speaking about plain paper, we have our news on plain paper on our fax on demand system. That's the first number on your screen, so don't hesitate to give us a call or to drop us a fax letter to our fax mailbox. Coming up, we're going to be speaking with Dave Mountain, General Manager of Autodesk on Computer Insider.
2 days until the presentation. Plenty of time to pull it all together.
Hi, Marcy. Sorry, the deadline moved up 24 hours. See you in the morning.
Looks like a long night ahead. With her AST computer, she'll make it on time. AST Computers in support for a winning performance. From notebooks to super servers, AST Computer. You'll like the way we work.
Today's marketplace demands more information delivered faster than ever before. D-Link helps make that happen. D-Link manufactures network interfaces. D-Link connects computer systems with bridges and routers. D-Link writes network management software. D-Link manufactures computer networking and internetworking products to bring this world closer together. D-Link Corporation.
Today on our executive briefing, we'll be speaking with Dave Mountain, who's the General Manager of Autodesk Canada. Autodesk is the leading supplier of CAD software, that's computer-aided design software, into the personal computer marketplace. They own something like 80% of the market share for DOS, Windows, and a little bit in the Unix market. One of the things we wanted to ask you about, Dave, is that you're right on the threshold of releasing a new version of AutoCAD, version 13, which is basically going to be a Windows-based application, object-oriented. Can you tell us about some of the aspects that are involved in developing a new release into the marketplace, the testing, the working with third parties, and ultimately getting that product into the consumer's hands?
Well, there's a number of reasons why AutoCAD dominates in the PC-based CAD market. The primary reason is it's based on open systems. Compared to the proprietary systems where you get one solution from one vendor, what Autodesk did is they designed their software on an open system environment, allowing third-party developers or software developers that were specific to their marketplace to design their products on top of AutoCAD, almost using AutoCAD as a graphics engine. That went a long way to opening the door to a lot of users that typically would not be able to afford the higher-end proprietary systems. Secondly, AutoCAD came around at a time when the PC explosion was about to happen. And as we know, as PCs became more and more powerful, it just expanded the number of people that had access to computer software to allow them the ability to use different tools to do their job.
Dave, I wanted to find out from you, you live in a world that's got huge players, the Microsofts, the Lotus, the Novells. They have huge market shares and huge resources. What is it? What's the structure or the flavor or the mindset that helps a company or keeps a company like Autodesk surviving in the marketplace?
Well, that probably goes back about 11 years when Autodesk was developed. AutoCAD was a product that came out in the PC marketplace that provided 80% of the functionality of your proprietary software systems at about 20% of the price. And again, coming out as a PC-based CAD software package primarily, it hit the PC explosion, and as PC hardware became more and more sophisticated and more powerful, the end user grew with the product. Autodesk, in its $50 million a year R&D fund that they put back into the development of AutoCAD, continued to keep up with the demand of the marketplace, allowing more and more sophistication in its software as the hardware allowed for. What that's given us is an extremely educated user. The other point behind Autodesk is in a very specific market. Unlike Microsoft, who has an operating system that dominates across the PCs, Autodesk grew up in the CAD space, specifically computer-aided design or computer-aided drafting. This has given Autodesk a leadership role in the CAD marketplace, based on one of the original PC CAD developers into the marketplace.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you.
Dave Mountain is the General Manager of Autodesk Canada. They're best known for their CAD program AutoCAD, and they're about to be releasing AutoCAD 13. I also wanted you to note that they have other products in the market, 3D Studio being one of them, which is one of the leading software packages for people who want to develop animations and other sort of visual images on their computer screens. We, of course, will be inviting other key industry executives to join us right here on Computer Insider. Speaking about key industry information, we have our Fax on Demand system all set for you. That's a weekly update of what's going on in the computer industry. It's available to you at no charge by simply dialing from your fax machine to the first number you see on your screen now. Speaking about things to look into, privacy. It's a critical question with computer technology, next on Computer Insider.
This top marketing executive prepares himself for the demands of today's business with his new Sharp electronic organizer. He has accelerated to the top through careful planning and organization, but he doesn't keep it all in his head. Instead, his competitive advantage is at hand. Always with him, ready with the information most needed, and sometimes with what's needed most. Sharp electronic organizers. Computer Insider's radio reports can be heard 4 times daily on 680 News. Bob Pritchard brings you the latest computer news and information highlights from Canada's award-winning technology report. Be sure to watch Computer Insider's Files, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 6:40 on Canada AM and at 11:28 p.m. immediately following the CTV National News.
Are you concerned about the kinds of information that's being collected about you? Have you thought about exactly what's happening out there? Let's say you went out and applied for a credit card. On the application, they ask you for your name, address, and that sort of thing, some credit references. They also ask for permission to exchange that information about you with other companies. In the government, they also collect information about you. Information about when you were born, when you died, when you got married, when you got divorced, the children you had, where you live, the taxes you pay. All of that information is being collected by government. The problem, as I see it, when it comes to computer privacy is the private sector companies have the information and are exchanging it. In the public sector, in the government, they're collecting the information, but they're not exchanging it. So what happens? They hire more people to develop more programs to collect more information, when in fact, if they just used a little bit of basic logic, the left hand talking to the right hand, they could save themselves millions and millions and millions of dollars. But the government doesn't do it. Why? Because they're concerned over privacy. And they should be concerned over privacy and what happens to the information. But it's time that they considered that if the private sector is exchanging information, if the private sector is able to look after themselves in a profitable way, then maybe government should look at how it deals with its own information internally and let the left hand talk to the right hand and save us all millions of dollars. Because if we don't do it, we're all going to have to contribute more money to a government which already has proven that they have a very tough time coordinating what they've got going on now. Contact your MP, contact your MPP, and let them know that you're concerned over privacy, that the information remain within government, and that it be handled in a way that's not going to break us financially. I'm Bob Pritchard, and this is Computer Insider.
Computer Insider has been brought to you by AST Computer. You'll like the way we work. Sharp Electronics. From sharp minds come sharp products.